Namaskar my dear friends. So let us try to understand how we can design power adapters or power chargers with the help of link switch 3 devices. We have already seen 2 watt charger design in our previous video, okay, which was 5 volt output with 0.4 ampere capacity, okay. So in this session what we'll try to understand is we'll try to understand with 10 watt charger which will be having 5 volt 2 ampere rating, okay, and we will be referring one of the design example report from power integration which is going to be DER403, okay. So first of all we have to understand how easy it is to design a power charger with this particular devices like let's say link switch 3 devices with LNK6448K, okay. So we'll be trying to use ESOP 12B package as well as ESIP 7C package, so whichever suits you for your board you can take up. Both the boards or both the devices will be applicable for the design. So alright, I think we are good to go ahead. Let us make it very simple, and at the same time I'll try to tell you is, so there are so many design example reports from power integration for your different voltage ratings or current output ratings, so you can try to understand with them. If you are not able to understand, this is the one which is going to make you understand very easily, okay. Alright, so we have already seen the power device device data sheet. So in this device data sheet we had seen that this was the rectified input which was coming out of the bridge rectifier, right, and this bridge rectifier it is going to go to the transformer input, and this is the RCD circuit which is going to reduce the ringing at the input as well as reduce the suppress voltage level at the drain voltage, otherwise this drain will get damaged of this particular link switch 3 device. Alright, and rest of all these things we have already known, this is my secondary side rectification, and these are the capacitors and all. So we'll see one by one each and every part designing in our design tutorial right now. From the product output table you can see what are the different products that is going to be capable of. So we will be taking up LNK6448K device, that is our specific purpose because this is the one which we have used in our client design for 10 watt application with 5 volt output and 2 ampere ratings, okay. So this is the device that we have used. I'll tell you at the same time, if you want to utilize E package, that is the vertical package, then you can use LNK6448E also. So both of these two devices will be equivalent to each other, there will not be any design change. However, if there is a requirement of reducing the cost or something like that, then you can go ahead with 6418K also as well as 6418E also, okay. In that case only one change will be there, that I'll tell you. There will be a design of feedback resistors which will be a little bit variation, that's all, nothing else, only 2 resistor values variation will be enough. Okay, so with this we'll try to plug into the design phase. So let us try to understand with the design. This is the DER report from power integration DER403, and you can see this has been designed with constant voltage as well as constant current mode, and this is having 10 watt capacity. It is having universal input of 90 volt to 265 volt with outputs are 5 volt with 2 ampere ratings, okay. So this is going to be very low cost charger as well as adapter integrations. Okay, what are the different features of this particular device? It is a revolutionary current control, provides very low cost and low part count solution. So this is going to have around 27 parts max, okay. So only with 27 to 30 parts you are going to design the complete your charger, right. And primary side control eliminates secondary side control and optocoupler. So this is how it is going to work. There will not be a requirement of any optocoupler or any compensation circuits or secondary side control circuits. Those all are eliminated. We have plus minus 5% constant voltage as well as plus minus 10% constant current accuracy. So plus minus 5% and 10% voltage and current accuracy. So you can see if you have 5 volt output, then it will be having 5 5s are 25, so around 0.25 volt up or down. So it will be 4.75 volt to 5.25 volt. So this is going to be good because we don't need very high accuracy for this low power design, right? Then it has other protections as well, like over temperature protection, accuracy up to plus minus 5%, okay? And it has auto restart, output, short circuit, and open loop protection also. So suppose it has switched off after short circuit and there is a, like open loop protection means there is no load connected, okay? So in that case it will auto restart after some time. It has extended pin creepage distance for reliable operation, okay? So pin creepage is little bit higher so that reliability is very good, okay? You can see the very good thing is there is no load consumption, is just less than 230 just 30 milliwatts, okay? So only 30 milliwatt will be wasted if there is no load. We'll talk about ultra low leakage current. So ultra low leakage current is just less than 5 microampere, okay? And there is no I capacitor required also. We can see it has design easily passes EN 550022. So this is the standard that requires for your power supply designs or adapter or charger designs, and it meets also CISPR 22 class B EMI testing, okay, with more than 6 dB margin. And it has also capability of AC line surge, okay? So that is IEC 61000-4-5, that is the standard for line surges, and it meets class 3, as well as it also withstand ESD contact discharge, which is going to be IEC 61000-4-2, and this is going to be having contact discharge of 8 kilovolt and air discharge of 15 kilovolt. So this is going to meet almost all the specifications standards that is needed, right? So this is one of the best design that is going to be there. So first of all we try to see what is the board space and board design and all. So you can see very easily left side is the top side of the board and right side is the bottom side of the board. This is the ESOP 12B package of link switch 3, right? So this is the device LNK 6448K, okay? So this is the design, it has been done. And you can see this is the transformer, this is the input capacitor, these two are output capacitors, this is the line and neutral input, line input, neutral input. It has, like fuse and MOVs and all those things. So we'll see one by one each and every parts. This is having output connector as USB, okay? So USB plus minus will be available here, okay? And bottom side you can see this is the bridge rectifier that is going to give you the rectified output, okay? And this is the diode for the rectification purpose, all right? Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to talk about some of the features that we try to incorporate or the specification that we need for the design, right? So let us try to understand what is my power supply specification, okay? So first of all you have to fill this table so that you can have an understanding what is the thing that is needed in your design. It will become very easy for any kinds of design later on, okay? So in my suggestion you try to put your inputs like what is your voltage inputs. So voltage input minimum is 90 volt, maximum is 265 volt, okay? So this is actually universal inputs, so it will be varying from 90 to 265 volt, okay? The frequencies are, since 90 to 110 volt it is going to be 50 hertz around, 60 hertz around, and 265 volt it will be going to be 50 hertz, so Indian standard and USA standard. So this is going to work between 47 hertz to 64 hertz, okay? And there is no load power input, that is 30 milliwatt, that we have already seen. Now what is the output rating? So output voltage will be 5 volt, output ripple voltage will be 150 millivolt, and we have output current that is going to be minimum 2 amperes, okay? We have output power, so 5 into 2, that is 10 watt. Got it? Now this has very good efficiency also. So efficiency we are going to limit to the 75% or 76%, okay? We have environmental requirements, that is going to be conducted EMI which meets CISPR 22B and EN 55022B, okay? Similar to that we have some safety standards like designed to meet IEC 950 as well as UL 1950 class 2. We have line surge protection also, and we have differential mode with 1 kilovolt and common mode with 2 kilovolt. We have ESD protection also, that is going to be plus minus 15 kilovolt for air discharge, and for contact discharge plus minus 8 kilovolt, and the ambient temperature on which it will be working is 0 to 40 degrees centigrade. So this is a complete specification that we will be targeting for our power supply design. Okay, so let us directly go into the circuit that they have given already. Okay, so in this circuit we are going to start with what is the design spec and what are the different parts that is going to be used here and what is their functionalities also. Okay, so you can see this is the input TP1 and TP2, that is line and neutral input. Now it has been protected with a fuse. Okay, so the calculation of fuse and all these things we have already seen. What is the thing? Let me just give you again. Let us say let us say P input into efficiency is going to be equal to P output. Okay, so what is going to happen? My eta will be P output by that, like that efficiency is P output by P input. Okay, and P output is going to be I output into V output divided by I input into V input. Okay, so this is how it will work. Now we know almost all these things, so I input we need to find out. So I input is going to be how much? I output into V output divided by eta into V input. Now this is the thing we have to understand. I output was 2 into V output was 5. Let us say eta is 75% or 76%. So as you go on increasing the eta, my I input requirement will decrease. Okay, so I'll keep it little bit lesser. So let us say 70%, 0.7. Okay, multiplied by, suppose what is my I input maximum we want to find out. So my V input minimum should be there. Okay, so this V input minimum will be how much? V input minimum will be 85 was there, right? So 85 root 2 will be the minimum understanding. So this is how you will be getting a value which will be some value. Let us say it is going to be 0.2 ampere. So 0.2 ampere you need at the input maximum. Okay, or it will be even lesser than that. So this is how we are going to decide about the ratings of each of the parts at the input side. Okay, good. So with this we are going to select one fuse with 1 ampere rating. Okay, and we are going to select one RT. So this is my NTC, that is negative temperature coefficient resistor. So this is going to limit the inrush currents. Okay, so this is of 10 watt. If you want you can put one MOVs also here. Okay, so this is how it will be, like looking like, let's say this way, and you put it from line to neutral. So this will be MOVs which will be of, let's say, 375 VAC capacity. Okay, so in your new design, and if you are going to utilize the same circuit as it is, then there is no need of putting any of these things. It will work as it is. Okay, since it is very low watt power, so we are not putting any of the X capacitors, and there is no need of common mode choke also. Okay, so CMC, all these things, so there is no need of those things. Good. Now we are going to talk about bridge rectifier. So bridge rectifier is of 1000 volt 1 ampere rating. Okay, and how it works, you can see the path. Let us say this is line. Okay, so suppose line and neutral, how it works, this is positive half cycle and this is negative half cycle. Okay, so let us say right now it is positive and negative. So what is going to happen, this path will start and here it will move to this way, and this is going to go to through the capacitor, it will charge, and now it is going to come up this junction, right? Now this junction, it will not go into this side because this is already line. Okay, so the path has to get completed, so it will take this path and to come to neutral. Okay, so this is how it will come back and go to the neutral, and this is a complete path. Okay, same way another one will be, let us say, negative half cycle. So in negative half cycle, this is going to be positive side, this is going to be negative side. Okay, so what will be the red line, it will start like this and here it will reach, right? So at this point it won't go to line directly, it will go this way, it will go to which way, wait a moment. So it is, let me just delete these things so it will be easier to see. Okay, so we have deleted all. Now let us see for negative half cycle. So this is going to be positive, this is going to be negative, right? So what will happen? The path of the current will be like this, it is going like this, right? And then it will take this path and go to this capacitor and come back like this, and here it won't go this way. Okay, it won't go this way, it will not go in this diode because this is already neutral. Okay, so it will go to line and get completed. So it will go to line and get completed. So this is the path of negative half cycle. So you have seen the positive half cycle as well as negative half cycle, and you can see in both the direction there is a path to charge the capacitor C1. Okay, so C1 and C2 are the bulk capacitor as well as they are working as filter capacitors like ripple filtration, so ripple removal. So this is how these two capacitors are being used. Okay, next we have one one inductor which is 1 millihenry as well as here one ferrite bead L3. Okay, so the job of this particular pi filter is this is working as a pi filter. Okay, like capacitor and inductor. So this is working as pi filter. So it will remove all the noises and all those things, and this is how it is going to work out. Okay, moving to the next phase, it is going to go to the primary of the transformer, pin number 5. Okay, and it will pass through like this, and whenever there will be a switching of this MOSFET which is going to the drain to source, so the path will get completed automatically. Okay, so this is how it works. Now the problem is, at this input side there will be a surge at the drain. Okay, there will be very big spike, so those spike we have to be suppressing. Okay, to suppress that there will be a requirement of RCD snubber. Okay, so this RCD snubber is going to suppress the a stress voltage on the MOSFET, otherwise it will damage. Okay, at the same time it is also going to remove the ringing at the input. Okay, so ringing voltage will lot of ringing will be there at the input at the start, and then it will start and then again it will go down. So these ringings will be removed. Okay, good. Now we are going to talk about the secondary side, then we'll talk about the feedback and everything. So secondary side we have one Schottky diode which is going to rectify the secondary output. So this rectification is done by this Schottky diode. You can put one PN junction diode also to reduce the lower cost, otherwise Schottky diode is always preferred because of good capacity and capabilities and speed, right? And this RC is going to suppress any of the spikes that is coming up, so they have to be chosen very carefully. Got it? So this is 10 ohm resistor and 1 nanofarad capacitor. They are going to reduce the spike so that it will be good. Now capacitor number C3 and C4 are going to be acting as a filter capacitor and at the same time bulk capacitor for your power output, right? And this L1 is ferrite bed which is going to work again as pi filter to remove any of the noises and ripple at the output, so that you can get a very clear output of 5 volt 2 ampere rating. Okay, you can see a resistor which is there which is R2. So R2 is put as a minimum load that will be always there, because suppose you have not connected your charger or not connected your load to charge something, right, or get the power dissipated, then there will be a problem of open loop, right, or open load. So in open load, to remove that condition we have put one minimum load which is 2.5 kilo ohm resistance. Okay, and this is the return path. That's all. Coming back to the auxiliary voltage, so this is going to be the voltage, let's say it is 10 volt output, so that is going to be designed in such a manner that this will be this is the voltage division R6 and R7. So this feedback pin is going to receive how much it was, around 1.94 volt or something, right? So this has been designed in such a manner like R6 and R7, so that you get your feedback voltage of 1.94 volt, and this is how it is going to regulate the voltage actually. because you will never be getting a current, like voltage output exactly at 5 volt. So this feedback pin is going to regulate exactly at 5 volt with this particular understanding. Okay, so how will you design this? Let us say this feedback voltage is Vx and this is your V in voltage, that is your like auxiliary voltage. So what will happen? My Vx voltage will be, let us say this is my R2 and this is my R1. So my R2 into V in divided by R1 plus R2, and this is how you will be designing this particular circuit. So let us say you fix your R1 with 44.2 kilo ohm. So R1 with 44.2 kilo ohm, you will be able to get your R2 value by putting the value of V in as 10 volt and Vx as 1.94 volt, and you will be landing up around 10 kilo ohm. Got it? So this is how the design of feedback resistors and feedback circuit. Now moving to the other phase, which is going to be compensation circuit. So this is the compensation circuit that you can see here, R5, D3 and R8. So R8 is actually nothing but the current limiter resistance that has been put into the bypass pin. Otherwise there will be a problem of high current that is entering into the bypass pin, and bypass pin is the like providing a like capacitor so that it can assist the regulator which is inside, which is 6 volt regulator. Okay, so this C7 is 1 microfarad capacitor that is going to be used for the internal regulator that is there at the bypass pin, and this is the complete compensation circuit with D3, R5 and C8. Okay, one more thing what you can do is you can try to have across this RC snubber, okay, or RC circuit. So with this it will be little bit easier. Okay, now we have already seen almost all the components, what are their specifications and everything. Let us try to understand different parameters of PCB layout. So PCB layout, you can see the size is just 1.7 inch by 1.5 inch around. So 1.7 by 1.5 is very small circuit or very small PCB. With this you are going to design your power supply or power charger. If you see the bill of materials, so bill of materials same way you can like try to identify from this particular table itself, like bridge rectifier is 1000 volt 0.8 ampere rating. If you want you can choose it from diode incorporated, as I had already told you. Okay, we have electrolytic capacitors, all electrolytic capacitor if you want you can choose very clearly from Worth Electronics. Okay, with all the values you will be able to get very easily. Okay, all the capacitors are good, like you can take it from AVX or TDK, that is fine. We have the diode incorporated, one of the Schottky diode is used, which is going to be 45 volt 10 ampere rating. Okay, so why 45 volt 10 ampere rating, which is D1? So if you come to the circuit, this is my D1, right? So the output voltage is 45 volt, right? So this capacity for breakdown capacity is just 45 volt, that is more than enough. If you want you can reduce to 30 volt also, but I'll suggest go for 45 volt or little bit higher itself. Do not reduce this specification. Okay, so this is how rest other parts are almost very easy. We will talk about transformer design. Okay, so this is the transformer design that is given here in this particular pin. So this is the primary winding, which is pin number 6 and pin number 5. Okay, where the rectified output was connected. Okay, and this is the secondary side, which is FL2 and FL1, where the output rectification is being done, which is where you are going to get your 5 volt output. Okay, and this is the auxiliary windings where you are going to get the get for the feedback compensation or feedback design. Got it? So this one we can directly take it from the data sheet or this design report. So let us open this particular device. You can see we have electrical specification, and they have given electrical diagram, electrical specification and everything, and this complete like transformer you can get it designed directly. So we'll directly turn into transformer design spreadsheet. So if you come to transformer design spreadsheet, if you see there is a page on the power integration where you will be able to feed your inputs, feed your specifications, and it will give you the design of transformer directly. So we will have that also in one of the session, like how to design your transformer with your specification. So you can see we have VAC minimum is 90 volt, VAC maximum is 265 volt, line frequency is 50 hertz. We have type, application type is adapter type, so you can keep it open frame also if you want open frame, otherwise adapter means it will be closed. Okay, then output voltage is 5 volt, output current is 2 ampere, and power is going to be 5 into 2, that is 10 ampere. Okay, the efficiency is more here, which is 0.76. Okay, sorry, 0.78, which is 78%. However, our design reached to 76% only. Okay, now Z factor and all these things will be automatically done, so you don't have to worry about much. Now input capacitance was 25 microfarad, so that's the reason they had taken 10 microfarad plus 15 microfarad, two capacitors. Okay, and in between that there was one pi filter. If you want to remove the pi filter and everything, you can directly take up only one capacitor of 22 microfarad ratings, or maybe 33 microfarad rating. Okay, now chosen device is LNK64X8K. Okay, so X8K, so that's the reason I told you it can be 6448 or 6418. Okay, so any, like, you can choose both way, both of them will be like same, but complete part number they have taken LNK6448K. so this is the part number that is suggested by the design like tool. Now I limit minimum. Okay, so I limit minimum is 0.47 ampere minimum current limit. Typical current limit is 0.51 ampere. Okay, if you talk about typical switching frequency, that is going to be 80 kilohertz. So this device is capable of working up to 85 kilohertz or something, right? So it is working at 80 kilohertz. We have reflected voltage output, which is going to be 106 volt. We have link switch on state drain for source voltage, that is going to be 10 volt. Okay, good. So other informations are, we have NVF and all those things. Let us talk about design parameters. Okay, so design parameter, you can see desired output diode conduction time is 5 microsecond. So this is all also will be able to automatically calculated, so you don't have to think of those things. This is the important thing that we have to talk about, which is R upper and R lower, that is the feedback circuit designed for constant voltage monitoring, right? So for that you can see this is going to be 44.69 kilo ohm as well as 9.57 kilo ohm. So these are not the standard values, so that's the reason they have taken closure values, which was 10 kilo ohm and 44.2 kilo ohm or something like that. Okay, this core type and everything will be automatically taken, so the same thing you can take up. So you can see almost all the design it has been completely giving you, right? And you can see the DC input voltage parameter. So AC was 90, so DC will be 94. Okay, and Vmax is 265, so it was 265 VAC, so VDC will be how much? 374.77 volt, right? Current waveform, say parameters, all these things we have already seen. Now coming back to the other thing, right? So hope you have a good understanding about how the spreadsheet is giving, what are the different parameters that is there, and if you have actual values, you can see here fine tuning at last. So R upper actual and R lower actual was this, right? And then the chosen values are actually the same, right? Good. So with this we have completed the transformer understanding as well. So I hope it is clear now for you. Let us say I'll just take another page. It is now clear to you what was the steps that was involved in our 10 watt design, okay, with 5 volt output on 2 ampere ratings, right? And how fuses and NTCs were there, how bridge rectifier was working, how are the input capacitors that has been chosen based on the spreadsheet that you can see, right? And what is the functionality of this pi filter, how this RCD snubber is working in the terms of removing the input ringings, as well as suppressing the drain voltage so that it doesn't damage the MOSFET, inbuilt MOSFET of the link switch device. And what is the parameters of transformers, how it is going to work from primary side as well as secondary side and auxiliary side, how to design this particular feedback resistance mechanism so that you can have proper feedback mechanism and you have a proper like voltage control at the output. And at the same time, this compensation circuit designs that will be already given in the design as well. Okay, this is the bypass pin which is going to come up with one of the capacitor for its internal regulator supply purpose, and this is the output rectification purpose. So this is the a Schottky diode that is going to be used at the secondary side so that it will give you the rectified output, and this is the capacitors that are going to be used. Okay, so these capacitors will be used either for filtering as well as for the bulk capacitor kind of thing. So this is the complete design for this particular 10-watt adapter charger design. So if you do have any questions or anything regarding this, please let us know in the comment box and we shall be able to answer you out. And if you do have any particular design requirement for your application, let us say any variation in the output power or any voltage and current ratings. Okay, so all these things can be always made by the transformer variation or otherwise design in the control circuits also. So a little bit variation in the output parameters can be managed with the same transformer, so there is nothing to worry about that. Thank you so much.